Hi everyone, happy Workshop Tuesday. We are on series 2 of our yoga series that we do on every other Tuesday of the month. And so this week we are focusing on yoga for stress. So I want to pose a couple of different questions here before we get started on our mats. So I want you to think about some of the different things that cause you stress. What are some of your different triggers, some of the different things that ultimately just bog you down and cause you to have a lot of anxiety in life. What is stressful for one person might be happy and totally opposite for somebody else, so they're not all the same things. But it could be things like fear, it could be things like work, money, health, just to name a few. So I want you to really take a few minutes to be able to focus on what it is that actually is causing you stress, maybe right now in your life, or what is typically something that you find that might cause you stress at some other points that you've realized. Because the best thing that you can do about stress to be able to face it is to be able to at least acknowledge what it is that you're stressed about. Because a lot of times I'll say, are you stressed to people, and you might not even realize it. So by first realizing what that is, you'll be able to let go a lot easier and be able to really just realize what is out of your control. Because ultimately what it's going to be is about finding balance in your life. Some of those things that cause us stress are going to be things that we can't control. And some of the things that we can are going to be things that we want to be able to focus on, and we want to be able to find the balance between the two, just like I said. Alright, so that is one of the questions that I want you to realize. And then secondly, I want you to realize how chiropractic can help with stress as well, or how we even test that in our office. So if you've been to our office before, you know that we do that heart rate variability test, where we put your hand in the machine in the Insight for 5 minutes, and it tests your nervous system, so your autonomic nervous system, which is made up of both your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight mode where you feel like you're being chased by a tiger, or that really anxious feeling, worked up. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum is the parasympathetics. And the parasympathetics is your rest and digest phase. And that rest and digest is going to be when you are much more relaxed. And ultimately what we want to find is the black line between the two, so that we're not heavily one-sided versus the other. Okay, and I'm trying to do this outside so that it's a little bit more of a nice environment for you guys, so hopefully there's not too much more of that honking noise that's going on outside. So just ignore it if you hear it again. But ultimately, back to the nervous system, we are finding balance so that we can overcome those stress environments and be able to get you closer to the green zone. I know that's a lot of people's goals in our office, to get that white dot in the green zone, which is our goal for you as well. And by getting on your mat with me today, that's going to help us support your nervous system, support the adjustment, and support your overall well-being, so that you're not making unhealthy choices, whether that's bogging yourself down, being lazy in the sense of sometimes stress can just wear you out and cause fatigue. Sometimes it can cause you to make poor nutritional choices where we eat our feelings. Sometimes you have other bad habits. So ultimately, let's choose to get on the mat, move our bodies, work through that stress, and ultimately find healthier alternatives to that. Okay, so we're going to start on our mats in our easy pose, just nice and simple here. If you watched our breath video from last week, you know that we talked about the ocean breath, or the Ujjayi breath, where we're breathing in and out exclusively through our nose, so blocking off the back of our throat. That's what I want you to focus on during your practice today, the breath technique that you're going to use, unless I instruct you otherwise. Okay? So I want you to focus on an intention before we get started. So close your eyes and start to focus on that breath that we just talked about. And then I want you to think of a word or a phrase, something that you can really anchor into, so that if you find yourself wandering, your mind wandering, thinking of the things that we brought up that are stressful, or things that you should be doing or could be doing, I don't want you to think about any of that. I want you to think of this one word, this breath, this phrase. It could be as simple as contentment, Could be as simple as movement or peace or grace, just to name a couple. Whatever is going to anchor you and move you today, I want you to focus on that word right now and know that in the next 15, 20 minutes, that's what you can come back to if you find yourself wandering. Good. We're going to start with a couple simple movements just to work up the body into some movement. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale, bringing your arms up all the way overhead, feeling like there's that string pulling you all the way up, nice tall spine. Good. And I want you to exhale, bring the right hand down to the floor, the mat, and really reach this left hand over. Make sure that you're nice and open in your chest area. I don't want you hunched over like this. I want you nice and open, elongated spine. Good, and nice inhale all the way back up. And exhale, drop the left hand down and bring the right arm over, extending to that opposite side. Nice deep inhale all the way back up. This time I want you to clasp your fingers or interlock them. And then bring them right behind your neck and extend your chin up all the way towards the ceiling. Just a nice little stretch in your neck here. You'll also feel it as you pull your shoulder blades closer together. Good, and slowly keeping your hands there, bring your chin towards your chest. Releasing those arms down, bringing your head back to neutral. Let's make our way into our tabletop position here. Coming into our cat-cows to start wakening up that spine. Inhale, you're going to drop your belly down, extend your head up towards the ceiling. And exhale, round everything down, tuck that tailbone under. Good, and moving with your own breath, taking a couple rounds here. Inhale up, and exhale down. Good, inhale, and exhale. Good, we're going to bring that right leg through, coming into a low lunge here. I want you to cactus out your arms to the sides. And I want you to not bring this right knee over top of your ankle. I want it to stay in line. But I still want you to press forward with your tailbone and your hips so that you start to get that hip flexor on the left-hand side that you're feeling. So remember, cactus out those arms, push into that left hip, and take some deep breaths in and out through your nose. Good. Fingertips should be nice and wide, energy shooting through them. Good. And I want you to reach around with your left hand for your left foot, bringing the right hand down to the knee. Getting that extra quad stretch here on the left side. And slowly releasing down, bringing those hands to the mat. We're going to switch sides here. Bringing that left foot through, coming into the low lunge. Once again, pressing into that right hip without accentuating that knee. Finding your balance. Remember, if you find that you can't balance or you're really wobbly, looking for that drishti point or a spot across the room that's not moving is really going to allow you to focus in and get that balance back in place. Good, bringing the left hand down to the knee. Reach around for that right ankle. Good, and slowly releasing, coming back onto all fours. Taking a couple rounds of that cat-cow again. Inhale and exhale. Good, one more time. Good, we're gonna tuck those toes under, lift your hips, come into a downward facing dog. Good, since this is your first one, I want you to start pedaling out those feet, bending the right leg and the left leg, pushing the heels a little bit closer towards the ground, stretching out those hamstrings. Good, and finding stillness again. I want you to lift that right leg up towards the ceiling here, coming into a three-legged dog. And bring that right leg all the way through. Come on up into a warrior two. Warrior twos are our nice strong poses. So a 90-degree bend in this front leg, 45-degree angle in the back. Shoulders are pressed down and back away from our neck and our ears. Good. I want you to flip your palm up towards the ceiling. Straighten out your right leg. Bend forward at your hips. And we're going to come down into a triangle pose. Now coming into our triangle pose, your right arm is either going to come towards your shin, all the way down to the ground, whatever's easiest, or if you need a block or some hooks, you can come up higher as well. Ultimately, we want to pretend like our entire body is flat up against a wall. Left arm is coming up high, and our gaze follows up towards our fingertips. Slowly coming down, we're going to windmill into our wide-legged forward fold here. Clasping those hands again, getting that extra stretch all the way up. Good, now we're going to reverse it, so bringing those hands down. Rotate your hips towards the left. Bring the right arm up. Flat backs again, coming into triangle pose. Good. From here, warrior two, bending out that left knee. Shoulders down and back. You should be facing the back of the room now, or whatever side opposite from where you started. Good, we're going to windmill down again. Come into that wide-legged forward fold. This time, plant that left hand down onto the mat and lift your right arm all the way up. Good. Coming into that spinal twist here. Remember to breathe. Good. Dropping down that right arm, switch out your sides. Back down onto the mat. Walk your hands around to the front of the room, and we're going to step nice and forward here, grabbing opposite elbows, just hanging here. shaking your head yes and no, making sure there's no tension in your neck. Good, and slowly making your way onto your seat. Good, we're gonna bring our right leg across our left. Left heel is gonna come towards your bottom. Now you're going to take your left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Right arm is going to come towards the mat. Once again, getting an additional twist. Nice and tall, all the way up through your spine. Now these spinal twists give us a nice internal organ massage. Help open up our diaphragms. A lot of times when we're stressed, we get stomach aches or upset stomachs. So this is really beneficial for that. Remember to breathe nice and balanced in and out through your nose. Good, and slowly untwisting. We're going to take it to the opposite side here, bringing the left foot up and over the right, tucking in towards our bottom. Right elbow to the outside of that left knee, sitting up nice and tall, and left arm goes towards the back. And slowly untwisting here. I want you to bring both legs to the corners of your mat. Lay down onto your back, and we're going to come into what's known as Shavasana. For Shavasana, I'm going to sit here and talk you through a nice short little meditation. So stress is a great, the way to do yoga is a great implementation to overcome stress, as well as meditation. And yoga and meditation go hand in hand, just like yoga and chiropractic go hand in hand. So the combination of the three is a really great method for you. So I want you to lie flat on your back, and I want you to feel every single vertebra flat on the ground. I want you to sink your hips into the ground, feel the weight of your head. And I'm going to walk you through just a simple guided meditation that is called a scanning meditation, scanning body meditation. Essentially, we're going to start from your toes and work our way all the way up towards your head. With this meditation, you can take it as slow or as fast as you would like. But ultimately, what you're going to focus on is the energy and just how things feel in the areas that I'm instructing you to feel them. So I want you to start with your toes. Just acknowledge where they're at. See how they feel. Focus all of your attention and your breath into your toes. Slowly working into your ankle joints. Feeling that connection there, that really grounding sensation that we get from our feet. Everything works from the ground up. Just feeling what that feels like and acknowledging that. Feel that energy move all the way up the shins and around the calves, coming into your knee joints. A lot of times we lock out our knees. So just breathing here, loosening everything up, noticing if there's any tension that we can release, and slowly working up our quads and our hamstrings into our hip joints, that ball and socket sensation. Good. Feeling if the left or the right feels different, or if they feel the same and balanced, then that's great too. We're going to work our way into our torsos, So feeling that stomach around our belly button, all the way up the sides and our ribs, and of course along the spine and our back. Feeling all of the different energy, the way that it's moving. And I want you to focus in on your fingertips. I want, if they're not already, to be at your sides with the palms facing up towards the ceiling so that you're accepting of this energy that you're feeling, thanking yourself for showing up. Start to feel into your wrist joints. We do a lot of work with our hands every day. Just acknowledging it. Working our way up our forearms and into our elbow joints. And then up the rest of our arms into our shoulders. I want us to spend a little bit of extra time here, since our shoulders and that upper back and transition area into our neck is where a lot of people hold all of their tension and stress. A lot of muscle tension going on there. So just breathe. Try to relax, loosen up those muscles. Good, and work your way up into your neck, especially taking note of that occiput, or right at the base of that skull, another area where a lot of people hold their tension. And just relax. Stress can cause a lot of headaches, so doing simple meditations like this and even just scanning the head can really eliminate some of that stress and tension. Feeling how it feels to wrap around into our temple region where other people tend to get headaches as well. Feeling the rise and fall. Your eyes should be closed, but feeling how your eyelids feel, if you're furrowing your eyebrows, if you're clenching your teeth, or how your jaw feels. Taking notes and just relaxing. Taking some nice deep breaths in and out. Good. And if you felt like you needed to spend a little bit more time on a certain area, go back to that area and breathe through it. This doesn't have to be the end of your meditation. You can do this every night before you go to bed. It calms the mind. But ultimately, to end our practice today, I want you to come back to that word or that phrase that you anchored into at the beginning. And I want you to just focus on that and be able to take that with you throughout the rest of your day. And for that, I thank you for coming to our Yoga for Stress workshop, and I hope that you are able to utilize these techniques in any time that you are feeling stressed, so that we ultimately can live happier and healthier lives without the impacts of those stressors that we a lot of times can't even control. See you next time.